Thank you, Doctor. I think it was a wonderful session. What a brilliant news from Pooja Taparia coming that 60 million children will actually be empowered with news on Masoom. So I think it's a phenomenal point to come out on this particular day. Okay, moving forward. So I have with me a very interesting personality joining from London. Iain. Iain is here.
I
Iain
am.
Drennan.
Yes. Hello.
Hi, Ian. Welcome to the forum. Very happy to have you in the Masoom Summit 2020 from YI, Young Indians. So for the forum, Ian Drennan is an executive director of We Product Global Alliance. He has been the executive director since its launch as an independent international institution in April 2020. Previously, he led the UK Home Office international response to child sexual abuse, including its support for We Protect Global Alliance. Prior to this, Ian worked in various roles in the UK civil service and diplomatic service, with a particular focus on South Asian region, including a posting in Kabul where he managed the UK's multi-million pound counter-terrorism and anti-corruption justice program. Ian, very happy to you. Very happy to have you among us in this a very important session of young Indians. This is towards a project Masoom. The name talks about the innocence of a child. Under this, Young Indians has been working since 2013 towards eradicating this cancer that hurts the society of child sexual abuse. So we're all coming together, 3,300 members of Young Indians coming together to understand how we eradicate this cancer from the society. And it is very interesting to know how the world fights it. And we are open to learn and we are open to adapt and to make the change into the country. So setting the context, COVID happened. We have always been pushed back. The entire world stopped for some time. And then suddenly the digital world erupted. The people whom we always thought, the children, the younger lot, that we should keep them away from the digital presence, happened that now they have laptops, now they have mobile phones, now they have iPads. They are open to the large network of web. With great power also comes a lot of negativity. We all know that the internet is spoke with various kinds of dark characters. So child sexual abuse digitally has become and exploded, in the forefront. And we see that all the children across the globe are exposed to something which is very dangerous. So I think there is no other way to run away from it, but to face it. Um, so it is great that We Product Global Alliance has come, and we have been hearing this word for the last 2 months almost in YI. And we're very keen to know how We Protect is planning to, help nations across the world to fight the online child sexual abuse. Um, Ian, we're open to hear to you, and please let us know how we can fight this uh, disease. Ian, welcome.
Thank you very much for that introduction, and it's a real privilege to be joining the Young Indians Summit today. I think it's an incredible network. I mean, just looking at the presence that you have across the whole country, and the sheer will to take a grip on this issue. It's something that I don't think we've really seen in any of the other countries we work with. Actually, this kind of groundswell from the grassroots. So it's a hugely impressive group and institution to be part of. So I'm really privileged to be taking part in this. As you said, Raj, my background has been working in India and the surrounding region. It has a very special place in my heart. So it's absolutely key that we continue to work and try and drive this issue forward. So just on the first slide there, this sets out our mission. So We Protect Global Alliance is the largest and most diverse international network dedicated to taking action on online child sexual abuse. We want to mobilize a global campaign to end this crime and really put the issue on the map. And this slide sets out what we're looking at here. And it's important to note that we take the issue of online or online facilitated child sexual abuse in its broadest possible sense. So you're looking at grooming, so where offenders are enticing children to be abused online, or you've got storing of and sharing of child sexual abuse material, what people used to refer to as child pornography. You've got live streaming of abuse, where you have this new phenomenon with better internet connections, where offenders are able to order abuse to order nearly. And we also recognize the links between what's happening online and what's happening in real life. So the internet is just another environment, another space with its own special characteristics. But this is connected with sexual violence writ large. It's connected to violence against women and girls. And we keep very close links with all the other groups and allies that are working on related issues. And I just wanted to highlight, I was able to join for the last session, and the Child Safety Week that Ms. Bujitapari was just speaking on underlines that there are no boundaries to abuse, and that's something that we're really supportive of and very keen to grow that movement and back it as an alliance. Next slide, please. So this just sets out a few statistics on why we should act. So they are going down. First, it's the scale. So 18 million referrals in 2018. Since COVID-19 has kicked in, the referrals to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, which all US headquartered companies are required by law to report instances of child sexual abuse material. This year, so far alone, there are 20 million referrals. So that's what the impact of COVID-19 looks like. So the scale is growing. Next statistic is about the severity. Younger and younger children being involved in abuse, 13 or under. You're also getting babies, pre-verbal children being found in child sexual abuse material. And then finally, the sophistication, so the estimation of the numbers of individuals looking to connect with children online for sexual purposes. As more people are coming online because of COVID-19, more offenders are coming online, more victims are coming online. And when they come online, you don't need to be technologically sophisticated to get anonymity, to be able to network with other offenders. These things are much, much easier. There are off-the-shelf tools that they can use. These aren't things you need to have a degree in computer science to find anymore. And once you access those networks, there will be other abusers and offenders who will tell you, look, this is okay, this is fine, and here are some techniques to enable you to do it. Next slide, please. So this just underlines that this is truly a global problem. These are the 20 countries with the highest rate of absolute internet growth for 2018-19. And you can see India is very much leading the charge. There are huge numbers of people coming online, and that's great. That's really, really positive. We are not by any means anti-internet. What we want to see is an internet where children can take advantage of all the opportunities, all the learning, all the socialization, all the fun that you can get without the fear of being exploited or abused. But the sheer volume of people coming online, and it's not coming online with a computer in the home necessarily that could be supervised. It's straight to mobile. A lot of countries you're seeing technology leapfrogging. So instead of going to dial-up connections or going to a cyber cafe, you're able to get the internet straight into your pocket, but you don't necessarily have all the safeguards and guidance that you would have had in countries where that process was slower. So this is why we really need to share our knowledge, share our expertise, and enable those countries that are coming online at an incredible rate to learn from what's happened before. So this is emphatically not a Western problem. This is not something that's happening in Europe and North America, and other countries don't need to worry about. It's the countries with the big youth population and the biggest internet growth, which is in Asia and Africa at the moment, where there's greatest need for support and awareness. Next slide, please. So this is just a diagram, and we're very happy to share all of this material afterwards. So don't worry about taking in every last detail. But what this slide shows is that at different stages of their childhood, children are vulnerable to different kinds of abuse. You can see as technology varies, as levels of supervision varies, and you can see offenders targeting children in different ways. And we've seen trends where offenders prefer to target pre-verbal children because they're not able to tell tales. They're not able to tell an adult. And that's one of the real challenges to try and address this. We have to be really sophisticated in our approach. But then further along the line, when you start getting into adolescence, what we're seeing increasingly, particularly post-COVID restrictions, is an increase in self-generated imagery. So material that might be shared innocently and without coercion between two peers, but then can be shared more widely, and it can get out into the wider internet, and the person loses control of that material, and that can be an absolutely shattering blow for a young person. We've seen people committing suicide because of the shame and the stigma that they feel for their images being shared more widely. So there are different vulnerabilities at each stage. Next slide, please. So this just gives a sense of our broad membership base. And I just want to highlight, there's a key gap, which you'll notice, which is India. So we would really love to have the Indian government on board. But I think going to Delhi and the central government is not the whole picture in India. You've got an incredible civil society community. We've got young Indians on board. We want to, if you represent an Indian-based CSO, we want to hear from you. It's a very, very simple process to join. There's no financial obligations, no legal obligations, just a commitment to collaborate. We also want to get a lot more Indian private sector companies involved. There's an incredible technology sector in India. At the moment, we're very conscious that our private sector members are tilted towards the West. We want to get more that are headquartered in the global South to bring in that full picture. We also want to hear more about what state level initiatives are ongoing. We know there's incredible work happening in Kerala through their Cyberdome law enforcement program. We want to hear more. So it's that swell from the grassroots, that enables us to advocate to central government to enable more resource to come back down. So if you think you would like to be involved, we would definitely hold out that opportunity. We'd love to see more Indian organizations involved and more Indian voices within the Alliance. Next slide, please. So this sets out our overall strategic objectives. So I'm not going to go through this in detail, but just to give you a sense of where our areas of focus are. So if you just click through, these will come up. There's 4 of them in total. So first of all is that advocacy. So ensuring senior decision makers take action, putting the issue on that global agenda and mobilizing resources and recognition of the problem. Next is empowerment. So hearing from children, from victims and survivors, because it's this issue, it's the actual child sexual abuse material, it's like it's radioactive. If you are one of the incredible people who look at it to try and take it down, they need a lot of support and resources to enable them to maintain their well-being. We can't show that material to decision makers. The best way to get across the severity and the impact of the crime is by hearing the stories of those who've had those experiences. So that's a hugely important thing to us. Then knowledge. So we have global threat assessment. We just launched a tender for our next one this week. And a global response framework, both at national and at transnational level. You can find all of that on our website. And then finally, collaboration. So that's our fundamental reason for existence, to try and drive new networks, and particularly at a time now when resources are at an absolute premium, we can't afford to be duplicating effort. We can't afford to be starting from scratch when we could learn from others. And that's what we want to do more of. Next slide, please. So this is just giving a sense of our plans. We want to have another global summit next year, obviously COVID permitting, but we had an incredible event in December last year in the headquarters of the African Union in Addis Ababa, which really symbolizes and underlines that we see this as a totally global problem. This isn't a Western thing. We want to have as many voices from the global South saying how the problem manifests in their countries, in their situation as possible. Next slide. This sets out our plan to do more listening to victims and survivors. So we've got a pilot project ongoing in partnership with ECPAT International, looking at 2 hotspots, Latin America and Eastern Europe, where we're going to be listening to survivors, listening to social service providers, and trying to draw lessons from that and set that within a global context to try and deliver a call to action. Next slide. And this sets out our plans on building our knowledge base. So I just wanted to highlight that we're reviewing our model national response framework, that we're doing that in partnership with UNICEF. This was launched in 2016. We're looking back on how it's been delivered, where are the gaps, how can we improve it, just in that constant learning process from the grassroots, feeding that knowledge up to the top level. Next slide, please. And finally, the big project we've got ongoing on our collaboration front is we are going to completely overhaul our website. We are really looking forward to this. We used to sit as part of the UK government. Now that we're independent, we want to create an absolute leading edge online platform which will provide a membership portal, which will provide resources and a gateway to look for information and pulling that together in a way that our members can use and exchange information and provide a marketplace for ideas, for resources, and to drive a unified response. So that's a really exciting project that's building right now, and we hope to launch the new website by the end of the year. Next slide, please. Yes, so I wanted to have maximum time available for questions. You've got my contact details there. I would love to hear from you. Our website, weprotect.org, where we've got a lot of resources. But yes, it's really just an open offer. We want to do a lot more with India. India is a country, both in terms of the lessons it can bring and just the sheer connectivity. It cannot be ignored. India has to be a part of our work. And that's something we're looking to deepen as we go forward. So thank you so much for the opportunity to speak to you. I'd love to hear more from you going forward.
Thank you, Iain. It was wonderful to see the kind of base that you guys have across the world. And it is indeed surprising that We Protect is not yet there in India, but I'm still hoping that we convert this opportunity for bringing you guys into India and we can work together. We are 1.35 billion people. And I read in a recent report that 0.8 billion of Indian population is actually on the internet every day. And your some of your statistics also do the same thing, say the same thing, saying that the kind of penetration that Indians have seen on internet. So I have two quick questions for the paucity of time. I would request you to be brief. The first one, internet is here to remain and become robust, right? Do you think the real world out there has more loss than the internet world as far as CSA is concerned? And how do we make it more robust for people who are logging in online, especially keeping children in mind? What do you think it could do?
So it's a very good question. I think there are tremendous benefits that come from using the internet. And can you imagine what the COVID-19 pandemic would have been like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, without the tools that we have to connect? So there's no question that we want to lose those great gains that we've made. But I think anything that is unacceptable offline should be unacceptable online. So in the same sense that you wouldn't take your child to a playground, leave them there in the dark, walk away, and just let them go. And also a playground that has access to all kinds of shady characters who you don't know. But parents can be happy to just let their children go off on their mobile phones without knowing what they're doing, without talking to them. I think the key piece of advice that I've heard from the experts I've spoken to is just to keep that communication going from a very early age. I've got two girls, one's 4, one's 6. They're already very, very adept with using screens, and to try and, I think, keep track of what they're using. There's now lots and lots of resources available for parents. A great source is the End Violence website. They've got a great area of hands-on resources for parents to use. But I think there's also there needs to be a holistic response. So we've got, if you look at our model national response framework, there are lots and lots of capabilities where everyone's got a part to play. So no single entity can resolve this problem alone, no matter how powerful or wealthy they may be. So Facebook can't solve this on its own. The United States government can't solve this on its own. Everyone has a part to play, because you can have a victim in India, you could have an offender in the United States, and you can have a platform that's headquartered in Russia. And we have to find the way to be able to deliver a global response. And that's not easy. That's no small thing. But I think as an alliance, what we try and provide is a hub and a bridge where all of those different constituencies can come together and try and work out a solution to those very, very difficult problems.
Thanks, Iain. I think I have one important question that I've kept for the last. YI is a force in India. We are 3,300 members. We are present in 52 cities and growing as we speak. These are all young people, young entrepreneurs, professionals. How can we Product Global Alliance and YI work together? I believe we've already broken the ice, and with the kind of work that we have been doing for Project Masoom, which is preventing child sexual abuse and creating awareness in the last 6 years, has been tremendous. How do we come together to completely stop this menace and safeguard the children? How do we come together and work?
So I think it's a very, very exciting opportunity with the infrastructure you have across India to be able to first understand more about how the issue manifests in India, and then feed that up through our network to inform our threat assessment, to inform our response review. But also, I think, to help strengthen that voice to state administrations, to even the central government in Delhi, to say, look, this needs to be this needs to be on your priority list. I know there are a lot of competing priorities, but this is something that is even more important after COVID-19 has accelerated that trend to come online. So I think if you look at our four objectives, I think Young Indians can help on all four of those. And I think if as soon as we are able to travel to India, I would love to be able to get back over and maybe start doing some in-person events at the regional level, not just central government, but I think there's so much knowledge and expertise at regional level. So yeah, the sky is the limit, I think.
Yeah, and I failed to mention earlier that all these 52 chapters extensively work with administrations at different levels, state governments, central governments. I think that's the route that we should take because it's a proven method. Whatever we are trying to impact on a large level, I think has to go through the governments, which ultimately become laws and will also help us to eradicate the problems like child sexual abuse. Iain, it is wonderful chatting up with you. Thank you for joining us for the Masoom Summit 2020. I think YI and We Product Global Alliance is here to stay and work deeper. And I'm sure that you are welcome along with your organization to India. You will be taken to all the 52 cities, and you can have the best times. We would promise that. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of great work that we can do together. So thank you very much once again, Iain, and it's a great pleasure having you on the forum today. And so guys, that is Iain, the Executive Director of We Product Global Alliance. We just discussed on coordinating global strategic response to online child sexual abuse. I think he had a great amount of points in terms of how we should take this forward. And thanks once again, Iain. I would now welcome my colleague, Vivian Matthew from Mumbai, to take the Masoom 2020 Summit forward. Vivian, the forum is yours. Thank you very much for the wonderful opportunity.